All right, tonight is a school night, so let us, as always, hope that it uh, goes somewhat quickly, um, because, as always, I would like it to go quickly. Um, because that way I can go to bed. And yeah, yesterday was tough. You saw I didn't finish, and then I finished it this morning. Go watch that video. Um, the video is not of me finishing. The video is of me explaining my solution that I finished elsewhere. But let's go check out the problem. Day 21, allergen assessment. Here's the train's last stop, close to you get to your vacation island without getting wet. Aren't even any boats here, but nothing can stop you not being able to raft. You just need a few days worth of food for your journey. You don't speak the language, so you can't read any ingredients list. However, sometimes allergens are listed in that you do understand. You should be able to use the information on which ingredient contains which allergen and work out which foods are safe for you to take on a trip. Start by compiling a list of foods, one food per line. Each line includes that food's ingredients list, followed by some or all of the allergens food contains. Each allergen is found in exactly one ingredient. Each ingredient contains 0 or 1 allergen. Allergens aren't always marked when they're listed as it contains nut shellfish. The ingredient containing this listed allergen will be somewhere in the corresponding ingredients list. However, even if an allergen isn't listed, the ingredient that contains allergen could still be present. Maybe they forgot to label it, maybe it was labeled only that you don't know. For example, consider the following list of foods. Contains dairy, contains soy, contains fish. The first food in the list has 4 ingredients. While the food might contain other allergens, a few allergens, food definitely contains what's afterwards, dairy and fish. The first step is to determine which ingredients can't possibly contain any of the allergens in any food in the list. For example, none of the ingredients Cafidicid can contain an allergen. Count the number of times any of these ingredients appear in each ingredient list. They all appear once except as of which it cannot possibly contain. Okay, so let's think about what this means. Cannot contain any allergens. So dairy has to be MMKD, and fish has to be Soquica, which means soy has to be Fivical. Okay. So we need to do some kind of process of elimination here. Let's copy this and figure out how to do it. Okay. And now let me get this, and let's think about the following. And let's say from typing import named tuple, and we'll say a food is a named tuple, and it is going to have ingredients, which is a I'll just do list, which is a list of string, and allergens, which is a list of string. And I'm probably not going to use these this way, but we'll just deal with that. And again, static method def parse line is a string and goes to a food. And what I want to do is say, let me see if they all have allergens. I'm going to assume, let me look at the instructions and see. Followed by some or all of the allergens the food contains. Each allergen is found in exactly one ingredient. Each ingredient contains 0 or 1 allergen. Allergens aren't always marked when they're listed. Okay, so let me do this and say parts equals line dot split on contains if len parts equals 1, then allergens is the empty set, else allergens equals parts 1 split this out. Remove the closing parentheses and split on comma space, and return food of parts 0 dot split and allergens. Okay, and so let's say foods equals food dot parse line for line in raw dot split on new lines, and let's run this and see how the foods come out. Okay, that seems good. And so now what we would to do is can't possibly contain any of the allergens. So we're going to have to puzzle this out, and can't contain any allergens. Let's say foods is a list of food, and it is going to return a list of strings. Okay. And so what we want to do is say allergens equals allergen for food in foods for allergen in food dot allergens. Okay, so first we want to get the unique allergens. Okay, and now what we want to do is say let's do a default dict from collections, import default dict, and let's say candidates, which is a dict from string to a list of string, equals default dict list, and this is going to say for each allergen what could its ingredients be. Okay, and so for food in foods, and maybe I don't actually need the allergen sets. For allergen in food dot allergens, and I actually want this to be a set. For ingredient in food dot ingredients, candidates allergen dot add ingredient, print candidates, and let's just check this out now. And let's just run this. So dairy has to be one of those, fish has to be one of those, and soy could be one of those. And so what did I say about this? I said that okay, so that's not right. That's totally wrong. Okay, so I don't need a default dict. Let's say candidate equals this for allergen in food dot allergen. if allergen in candidates, candidates allergen equals candidates allergen and set of food dot ingredients. So whatever the candidates were, and let me do it this way. If allergen is not in candidates, candidates allergen equals set of food dot ingredients, and then otherwise I intersect it. So the idea is that anyway, let me run this and then I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so now I have dairy has to be this, fish has to be that or that, and soy has to be that or that. Okay, and I feel like there's an extra step now, which is as follows. We want to now remove uniquely known allergens. Okay, and so what do I mean by that is removed any equals false. I'll do it this way. Keep going equals true. While keep going. Actually, no. I'm just going to do it this way. Removed any equals false while true. Let's say uniques equals allergen cans for allergen cans in candidates.items if len cans equals 1. Okay, and now for allergen in candidates, so I actually don't need this thing up here. What I want to do is say I don't want to iterate over this. What I want to do is I want to say for allergen in candidates. So let's say allergens equals, I'm just going to say allergens equals list candidates. So I already have that. For allergen in allergens, and let's say taken ingredients equals ingredient for cans in uniques.values for ingredient in cans. Okay, and so now for allergen and allergens, if allergen not in uniques, so that means if this has multiple choices, or not in uniques, and candidates allergen intersects with taken ingredients, then what I want to do is two things and say removed any equals true and candidates allergen equals C for C and equals candidates allergen minus taken ingredients. So I'm going to remove that. And then if removed any, so let me do this. Keep going equals true, while keep going equals false. And now I'll say keep going equals true, and that will break out. And then I'm going to change this to can contain any allergens. And it's going to be a set of strings. And once we're done, we're going to say return ingredient for cans in candidates.values for ingredient in cans. Okay, and let's say CC equals can contain any allergens foods. So now let's run this. Set object is not callable in so FVJKL MX MMD okay, so now let's say can't contain any allergens. Foods is a list of food, and it's going to return no, I think I'll leave it like this, but none of the ingredients KFDS, so that means that the ones that can are MX, Squidgic, none of them can. So the M's can, KF's, the Squidgic can, and the M's. So I think that might be right, actually. Counting the number of times the ingredients produces 5. They all appear once except, so how many times do any cannot contain? How many times those ingredients appear? Okay. And can't see equals let's say count no allergens foods, which is a list of food, and that is going to return an int. And let's say can contain equals can contain any allergens foods. Okay, and so return sum of ingredients not in can contain for food in foods for ingredient in food. Okay, and what I want to do is assert that count no allergens foods equals 5. Okay, and now let's run this on hashable type list. Ingredient not in food, ingredient in food dot ingredients. Okay, so that worked. And now let's see if this works. It probably is not going to. Split on new lines and print count no allergens foods. So let's try it. 2569. My guess is it won't work, and then we'll have to see why. Hey, that is the right answer. Okay, good. Now that you've isolated the inert ingredients, you should have enough information to figure out which ingredient contains which allergen. The above example, M contains dairy. Arrange the ingredients, so there should not be any spaces. The above example, time to stock your raft with supplies. What is your canonical dangerous ingredient list? Okay, so print candidates. Hey, what do you know? Okay, good. So let me do this. So I'm just moving this out because I want the candidates. And let me run this. Let me run this again, and that seems to work. Okay, good. And so now, what I want to do is I want to say arrange the ingredients alphabetically by their allergen. So now what I want to do is, and let's say candidates is a dict from string to set string. Okay. And def arrange candidates, which is a dict from string to set string, and it's going to return a string. And what I want to do is, first off, I want to assert that all len s equals 1 for s in candidates.values. And now what I want to do is return, let me read what they want. Ingredients alphabetically by their allergen. Okay? And so candidates return comma dot join sorted comma dot join allergen for allergen blank next iter candidates for allergen candidates in sorted, I'll call these cans, candidates.items. Okay. And so let's say candidates equals candidates of foods, and assert that arrange candidates equals, and in this case it's this. So let me run this, and that works. And again, cans equals, I'm using some really bad variable names tonight. Print arrange cans. Copy, paste, submit. That's the right answer. Okay, good. So that one wasn't too bad. And here's my guess. My guess is that if you did not do this part, it wasn't going to work on the big input, but it did work on the test input. So anyway, just to go back through this really quickly, we have these. This is a bunch of stuff, and one of them contains dairy, one of them contains fish, and then so on, and it's consistent. So I parse in each food into a list of ingredients and a list of allergens, obviously. So this one, those are the ingredients: allergens, dairy, fish. Those ingredients: allergens, dairy. And now what I do is candidates and say for each allergen, what are the possible ingredients it could be? And I say for each allergen, there's a set of ingredients that could be the ingredient in that allergen. And so I construct this again in the obvious way. For each food, look at its allergen. So, in this one, I have dairy and fish. And I say, if I haven't seen these before, which I haven't, then add that set to its candidate. So for dairy, each of these four is a candidate, and for fish, each of these four is a candidate. And then if I have seen it before, I intersect these ingredients with the exact four. So, after the first one, I say dairy has to be one of these. After the second one, I say dairy has to be one of these as well. So, in particular, that means that dairy has to be something that occurs in both lists, which has to be that one. So, after I do that, I'll say dairy is definitely that one, and fish is still, one of these. Soy has to be one of these. I haven't seen it before. And fish has to be one of these. But again, I've seen fish before, so I intersect it again, and that will tell me that it basically has to be either this, one of these two, right? And then what I go through, so I do that, right? And now I have these candidates. And now what I do is I say, at some point, I've uniquely identified dairy. I said dairy has to be this MX, 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 which is the only thing that occurred in those two lists, right? And so now that I know that, in particular, that means I know that it can't be anything else, right? So I can go to the fish one, which has all these, and take that out, right? And take that out. And so now that tells me that fish will have to be this squidgic one, okay? And now I repeat that process again and say, I know that squidgic has to be fish, so it can't be soy. So then I take it out of here, and I know that soy has to be fivgical, okay? And so I just repeat that process, and I just say, keep going until I have to stop. What are the allergens where we know what their ingredient has to be, and we know what their ingredient has to be, and so maybe uniques is maybe I should call it known, right? Known is allergen to candidates, and known dot values, and if allergen is not okay. So those are the ones that are known, and the taken ingredients are the ingredients that are known to correspond to an allergen. And now I just iterate over all the allergens, and I say if I don't know what the ingredient is for this, and one of the candidates for this allergen is something that I've already used, and that I already know which allergen it goes with, then I say I'm making progress, so keep going. And now take all the taken ingredients out of the candidate. So prune this down. And then I just keep repeating that as long as I can, and hopefully that will get me to a point where I know for each ingredient what its allergen has to be. Now again, this is one of those where you can imagine an input set where that won't work. For instance, if you had like something dairy fish and then something dairy fish, then obviously you can't uniquely determine which is which, but they've constructed the inputs in such a way such that this process of elimination works. And then, then they just said they want me to count how many ingredients have no allergens. And so I just say, what are the candidates for those foods? And look at each ingredient that can contain an allergen. And then I just return the ones that can't. And then this arrange basically said I just wanted to print them out in order, and I just do this assert to make sure that I actually found a unique one. So, a little bit convoluted and some less than ideal variable names, right? So, again, let's say can contain equals ingredient for, yeah. So I don't like all these variable names, but I'm not going to change them. So that's that, and we got it to work, so good for us. All right, cool. See you next time.